Hello and welcome to the making of our film Psychosis. The film is about a young girl struggling to cope with the effects of psychosis when her life is turned upside down by a shocking turn of events. She is unable to distinguish between reality and her imagination.
Before coming up with the idea for our film, we had to research the horror genre, which involved looking at certain films that related to our ideas. We studied films like Hide and Seek and The Uninvited as they contain themes of personality disorder. They explore characters which have two sides to them, and this was the sort of film we wanted to make.
We initially came up with a stalk and slash plot which involved a masked serial killer and two victims. The story involved the killer murdering the victims in the opening sequence with influence from iconic slasher film Scream. We had found a location and sourced the props. Finally we had set the date to film and we were ready to roll.
On the day of filming we went to the shooting location. The weather conditions were very poor, cold, rain, mud. It became very difficult for the actors to cope as we were covered in blood and mud in the freezing cold, having only 4 people to transfer the equipment from one scene to another.
After putting a huge amount of effort into the film, when we eventually went to edit, the camera had problems reading the time code, meaning some footage could not be accessed and others appeared not to have filmed, resulting in the loss of over half our work. There was not enough film to produce our original idea. We were back to square one and had to storyboard a new plot, giving us the idea of Psychosis.
After viewing the footage we had saved, we decided to plan a new idea. However, due to the shortage of time and lack of resources, we filmed the new scenes in school grounds. After reviewing all of our footage, we made a decision to combine the old idea with the new, and agreed the old footage would be used for flashback sequences. What effects did you use and why?
Well, basically in the film there's two types of shots, one which show Claire going crazy and the other which show her sane side. The ones which show her crazy side we used an anti-flicker and old film effect which gave the film like a rough edge to it. The other shot which show her sane is basically just we used colour correction throughout the whole of the clips and it's no effects added. And the other shots which used the blood and that, we used the anti-flicker as well, and it's basically just to give the film the rough feel that we wanted. We used black and white as it shows the contrast between the two shots from the old and the new. One particular scene shows Claire going crazy in her chair, and we used the motion blur effect. This was to create like almost ghost-like image of her, like she's not really there, which relates to the psychosis as she cannot distinguish between like reality and her imagination. It's like her basically going crazy. And
Why did you cut the film the way you did?
well, we used the edgy cutting and fast cutting. It's basically much inspiration from films like The Ring and The Grudge. It's to basically keep in rhythm with the music of the film, and it just builds the tension up throughout the film and eventually gets to a point where it comes to a standstill and then the title appears. So. And we also use the cuts to show the various like rapid behaviour of Claire in the opening 2 minutes.
How did you find the resources needed for making the film?
Well, to start with, we talked about what kind of props we wanted for our special effects. So we went off to a local town and we went into a local shop there and we found some props. The first prop that we wanted was some fake blood for the horror film, because obviously you need blood in a horror film. And then we also found a slit throat, and also we wanted to use a half mask, a full mask, so we could show the two personalities of Claire in the film. When we came to using the props though, The blood we got were little pellets. They did not work as well as before, but luckily we had already made some homemade blood out of flour and it wasn't that great. And the slashed throat, it turned out not to work that well. It didn't stick to the neck and it didn't look realistic, so in the end we stopped using that and we came up with other ideas for the film. And basically that the mask was used for the bad person in the film, won't tell you his name, and it was to show Claire's two sides of the personality and to show if the man who was attacking her was realistic or just in her imagination. That's what we don't know and what that symbolises. Well, we started off using several different types of titles, but to start off with we used the actual symptoms of psychosis to show what she could get and what she had, so it fitted well with the film. But as we looked at it again, it didn't seem to look like an opening of the film, it looked more like a trailer. So we decided to take all the symptoms out of the title and then put the credits in. So it just showed the names of the people that were within the film and who made it. We used many different techniques to make it come in and out of the film, but in the end we decided to do fade in and fade out because it kept in time with the music and kept the tension going throughout the beginning of the film. How did you come up with the film Psychosis?
We wanted to make our film as different as possible while still incorporating the repertoire of elements from your typical horror film. We still wanted to include our own ideas, but we sort of wanted to break the normal aspect of horror. We then researched films such as Hide and Seek and Psycho, obviously, because they both show underlying themes of personality disorder, which is what we wanted the film to be about.